Okay, guys, I know you're probably getting really tired of hearing this, and I swear to you, I am still trying to mess with the editing. I actually found a way that I could probably do it on my computer rather than on my phone. And now my computer's playing tricks with me, and every time I try to upload the videos from my phone, it's not working. So right now, I'm trying to fix that problem. I have no luck. If it weren't for bad luck, I would have no luck at all. So I wanted to show you the 4 cards I've gotten done so far, and I've only gotten 4 done because I've been messing with the editing so much, or with trying to be able to edit. So just a quick video to show you. So with the first card, I used the pink cardstock and the pink tone-on-tone patterned paper, and I made a shaker, just a small shaker. I did some of the leaves, stamped them, cut them out, colored them with my alcohol markers. Some hair on here, and one of the butterflies, and then I popped the butterfly up. I just glued the body down and folded the wings up and used one of the trails, but that's stamped directly onto the pattern paper. And then I used a circle die from the Infinity Circle Dies from Hero Arts to cut out the circle. I used some of the thermal foil behind. I also put a couple butterflies in there, but because I heat embossed my sentiment on the acetate, you can't really see what's back there, which was my intention. I wanted it to be more of a background picture. And I put some clear beads, some green beads, and some pink beads in there with a couple of light green sequins. Everything that's pasted, or glued rather, onto the cardstock is, I thought I put glitter on all of it. Some of the Wink of Stella, also some of the Nuvo clear glitter gloss, but it looks like these leaves up here don't have it. And then also, I don't know if you can tell, but it buckled. I don't know if it was because my daughter was playing with it. She loves the shaker cards, but it wasn't like that when I made it. As you can see, I popped it up because it's a shaker card, and that's it for that card. The second card, I took some of my texture paste, which honestly I thought wasn't going to work for me. I had this, and it's probably about a year old, and it was super dry. It was still movable, but just barely with my, it's not coming to me now. I used this. I added a little bit of water though, because it's the Ranger texture paste, and that worked. So I did this on regular white Simon Says stamp cardstock, used the stencil, and I just did one strip of the butterflies. I turned it the way I wanted it on the strip. And then I used all oxide inks, Abandoned Coral, Spice Marmalade, the Squeezed Lemonade that came in the kit, Twisted Citron, and then the Mermaid Lagoon that came in the kit, and I kind of made sure they blended all together. I also squirted it with water and then, dabbed it with a towel, and as you can see, some of it came off of this butterfly, but I left it because I liked the way it looked. I popped that up on a piece of foam tape, and then I put 2 strips of the Gina K, is it Gina K? The silver, and oh my goodness, guys. You know what I'm saying, the foil. And I just stuck that underneath on either side to kind of separate it from the purple cardstock that I used, or paper from the kit that I used. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I think it's just because I'm so stressed about the editing. I'm sorry, guys. And then I put a couple of the solid butterflies with trails and used I Adore You. And then I put some of my Studio Katia Ocean Wave crystals on there with glossy accents. And that was it for that card. For card number 3, I honestly didn't think this card was going to work out. I started out with a cream colored piece of cardstock that I turned into cards to make the 10 cards because I wanted to use the 2 white Simon Says stamp for other things. and I had heat embossed all of this onto that cardstock, but every time I used gunmetal embossing powder by Ranger. Didn't matter how much baby powder I used, my powder tool. Didn't matter how careful I was with pouring it on and dumping it off, trying to stay close to the corner, the corner that was closest to my coffee filter. It started getting really dirty. I don't know if you can see it now that it's colored in. You can see it a little bit around here. And it started getting very upsetting. And my whole purpose of this was to make it look like a stained glass window. And I used to have one in my house. So I kept going with it. I'm glad I did. I was determined. So I finished doing it the way I wanted it. I had started out measuring lines on the cardstock, 1/2 inch in. And then I double heat embossed those with the gunmetal so that they were a little bit more raised than the rest to look like the lead lines in a window, stained glass window. And then I put my design on there. After I heat embossed all the pieces of my design, that's when I added in the lines of the window with a Ranger Emboss It pen. And I thought it turned out pretty good. Once I colored in the background pieces, the picture itself, you couldn't tell anymore how dirty it got from the embossing powder. But the edges were still really bad. And because I had tried to tape it off with Post-it tape on the edges, it just got stuck in the tape. It was everywhere. It was a disaster. I would never use tape to try and cover it again. That was a mistake on my part. So I just very carefully cut it out. And then I put it on a piece of the yellow pattern paper, the tone on tone that came in the kit. And then a piece of the blue cardstock for the card base with Today is a New Day just popped up on some foam tape. And I think this card turned out really good. It really does look very similar to the picture I had in my mind when I started. And like I said, I'm really glad I stuck with it, even though it was the most frustrating card out of all of them. And then card number 4, I wanted to do a picture that was made out of pattern paper. I did add some color to the leaves, but the leaves were this colored pattern paper, the green. The butterflies, as you can tell, were the diagonal rainbow stripe. And then the background itself that I colored blue was the paper that looked like school paper to me with the rainbow lines. This paper. So I did cut out that paper, and I just did it so it would be 1/8 of an inch in every side. I used the Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide ink that came in the kit and blended it in with a blending brush. Then I dropped the water droplets on it. Then I stamped out all my leaves on the green paper, the butterflies on the rainbow paper, and colored them. Not the butterflies so much, although I did do a couple of the dots and in the antenna. But in the leaves, I was trying to get different shades of green, so I did use my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers. I didn't really emboss anything on these. I did emboss these tiny little butterflies. I just stuck them on there with Versamark and then covered them with clear glitter embossing powder, and then I very, very carefully cut them out. And I think that added a nice touch. You can see the foam tape if you turn it too much because the stems are so narrow. But I really do like the way it turned out. I placed everything where I wanted it to go so I could place out the trails. I stamped those, and then I started adding these all popped up on foam tape. I took that phrase and split it in half just by inking it towards the edge of the ink pad, which I used my Memento Tuxedo Black, and then just very carefully wiping off the letters that would have marked on the card. Hindsight, I probably would have done the phrase also before I actually put these onto the paper, because it was very difficult to stamp the phrase, even splitting it up with that stuff above and below. It still turned out okay. I was kind of scared when I did it, thinking I might have to cover it up. And then I did glitter all of this with the Nuvo Clear Gloss and the Wink of Stella, because I didn't do too much coloring and I just wanted it to have something glitzy. And then I just put some glossy accents along their bodies and just this antenna. And then I used some to make kind of like dew droplets, a couple on the leaves, some on the background. And that was it for card number 4. I do plan on making some more cards tonight. Tomorrow I plan on trying to fool around with editing again, as long as my husband gets his truck on time, his new truck. My fiance, rather. Might as well be my husband. We've been together for almost 14 years. And I have a couple sewing projects for people who wanted to buy stuff off of me, so I have to get those done before I go on vacation. But I do plan on doing a full 10 cards for this kit. Please comment below, even if it's to yell at me for all my editing problems. Subscribe, like this video. Keep me encouraged, guys, because I'm really starting to get disheartened by all the problems I'm having. But I hope you enjoy my cards, even if you can't see my process yet. I hope you have a wonderful night and a great day tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.